Quick shout out to my patrons. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible, so thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Literary Apothecary, and welcome back to another episode of Books My Boyfriend Gave Me. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to talk about the book like I normally do, with a quick review, spoiler-free review, but I'm also going to talk about a bibliotherapy recommendation because today's book was actually part of the Novel Cures recommendations. So, today we're talking about Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. This is book 1 in the Dollinger children's series. Before I go any further in talking about this book, I need to give some content warnings, trigger warnings, for those who need them, because this book is a very disturbing book in a lot of different ways, and I feel like I can't talk about this book without putting out these trigger warnings. So Flowers in the Attic has content warnings for rape, child death, child abuse, incest, murder, attempted murder, poison, and, there's probably a lot of other ones that I have left off that I've forgotten because there's just so many. It's hard to keep track of sometimes. And it's also hard to keep track of what could be a trigger for other people. So if you're a person that needs trigger warnings, go and look up Flowers in the Attic's trigger warnings or content warnings before you read this book at all, because this is not a book for everyone, definitely. Without further ado, let's talk about the book. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. In just a second, I'll talk about why. A quick spoiler-free summary of this disturbing book. After their father is tragically killed in a car accident, 4 children, Chris, Kathy, Corey, and Carrie, were forced to move into their wealthy grandparents' house. The only catch is that they have to live in the attic in secret. No one can know that they're there. They were told by their mother that all they had to do was wait until their ailing elderly grandfather died, and then the mother would inherit all of the wealth. And every day they had to face their evil grandmother, who not only despised them, but also believed they were the devil's spawn. And throughout the novel, we, the readers, had to watch all of the abuse that these children went through and all the ways they tried to find happiness, light, and joy in the darkness. Now, this is a bibliotherapy recommendation actually for, you'll be surprised, not enough orgasms. The writers of the novel Cure compare this book in its day, in its spotlight day, the peak of its moments, to today's, or the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s adolescent vampire novels, where there were some teens that would go and read these vampire novels to get a rush, to feel their internals tingling, to feel the senses of an orgasm. And so, according to the novel Cure, when Flowers in the Attic was hugely popular, some readers read this book to get that same type of feeling. And so that was one of their, surprisingly, they had a lot of different recommendations for not enough orgasms. They had a whole list of them, which surprised me. But this was one of those recommendations. Now, like I said, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I thought, yes, this book was absolutely fucked up, excuse my language. It was so freaking weird, so disturbing, but yet so well written. I can agree that a book was well written and not have to agree with the ideals that are written in the book. I do not condone the actions and beliefs in this book, the incest, the child abuse, the child murder, the poisoning, all of the things that were discussed in this book. I obviously don't condone it. If you know me at all, you know I'm a person I'm a lover, not a fighter. I raise love and peace and other people's love over fighting and killing and all of that kind of stuff. But I thought, technically speaking, when you look at the actual prose, the actual writing of the book, it was so well written, so well done, that I can't rate it lower than 4 stars. I felt all of the feels reading this book. I felt sad, I felt happy, I felt terror, I felt sickness, I felt disgusted, I felt like these people were truly evil and needed their comeuppance. I felt sympathy for our characters, and I felt sympathy for the characters that you were supposed to hate in moments that we learned different stuff about them. And that is why I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, even though it was one of the most disturbing books I've ever read. And yes, I will be continuing with this series. I'm going to take a break and read maybe 1 or 2 other books in a different series, but I will continue on with this series because I own the first 4 books in this series. So you will hear more about this series. I don't know if I want to watch the movie. Reading the book might be enough for me, but we'll see. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars for Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. And tune in next week for another episode of Books My Boyfriend Gave Me. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.